2 years ago, I was fortunate enough to meet a teacher of the great egregore who recited prayers, and people were healed afterwards. I even managed to talk to him face to face, although such meetings were very rare at that time. They still kept many events a secret and explained it by saying that people were not ready and it was not yet time. At that time, I didn't know that there was another world, more real than the one we were used to living in. And a few months later, it was shown to me, and at first I was stunned. But then I understood everything, as if I had always known. There was a family living in our house, and there was a sick child there. The doctors diagnosed this 10-year-old boy with sarcoma and told the mother that they could not heal him. When the pain becomes severe, come and we'll prescribe narcotics. The parents of this child turned to a healer, and he took up the healing. I want to write not about the miracle that the healer performed by putting this boy back on his feet, although the doctors attributed these merits to themselves. But I want to speak about human illiteracy and self-confidence, the lack of faith in God, and people's faith in their own laziness. For a week, the healer lived with the boy in one room. Only a little food was brought there. 10 days later, the boy walked out of there on his own feet. Another 2 hours of conversation with the mother followed. I managed to hear a little. The miracle worker said that the boy had been given a second birth, thanks to the prayers heard by God. And now it was necessary for the parents to change, to give him a new upbringing, to form a new view of the world. But for this, a sacrifice was needed, which consisted in changing the parents themselves. They were recommended to study at one of the online schools of the great spiritual egregore. They gladly accepted this, but from the wise man I caught one phrase that stuck in my memory. Returning to the old will bring back the old. Judge not that ye be not judged. Over the next 6 months, the boy recovered very strongly. He even grew taller and stood out for his endurance and activity among his peers. The parents, having learned the first lessons of the online school, began to study and also began to change greatly. There was a sparkle in their eyes. The wrinkles received during their son's illness disappeared, and all their relatives rejoiced for them. At sunrise, they went for runs, and their faces radiated joy. But after 6 months, when late autumn came and snow fell, I noticed that they were going out less and less. At first on weekends, and then more often, old friends began to gather around them. They began to have regular feasts. In 2 months, the parents changed, turning into old people, and before our eyes, like Snow Maiden, the boy began to melt away. Doctors didn't understand anything, neither did we. And only now, describing these events, I saw everything clearly and distinctly. How the worldview of parents affects the existence, health, and the development of their children. When the boy died, they began to speak ill of the healer, and their life became even worse because of it. They began to lose their jobs, housing, friends. I remembered the words of the healer in the Christian commandment, "Judge not that ye be not judged." That's where the secret lies. A person should not be lazy. Talking on a bench with their neighbors, we all noticed that this family could not retain their happiness, which was returned to them by the healer. They thought that they could pay for health once, but they had to pay constantly by striving. Strive to the bright, the miraculous, and believe that we ourselves can work wonders. But we don't see them. We don't see that more often than not good is done to us, and although it is unpleasant, we have to make an effort to accept and keep it. And through our own distrust, offense, and malice, we create bad things. It's hard to understand, but I enrolled in an online school of spiritual development. The healer gave an answer. He always answers and helps to understand. The main thing is to follow his simple advice, and life then becomes brighter, happier, and more miraculous.
In our extreme times, when the fate of the entire planet is at stake, it is crucial for the knowledge of angels and benevolent spirits to spread as quickly as possible, globally, and reach thousands of people. In this way, we can change the future of all humanity. Which is why we are addressing you, dear soul of light. Spread the knowledge about our wise books and films. Share links to videos or cartoons. All of this is available and free. Invite women to individual practices, webinars, and seminars. And the Great Spirit of Light will help you and your family. It will direct an enormous amount of energy to fulfill all your desires. Benevolent spirits and angels will assist you and your loved ones in all matters. A thread of light and love extends from your heart to the hearts of thirsty women, and the creation of good and the dissemination of enlightened knowledge throughout the world begins. Become part of the mission of light. Help people, and God will help you.